Here's something that wasn't supposed to be possible for at least another 2 years. I'm holding a drone that weighs less than a cup of coffee, fits in my jacket pocket, and has the same sensor size as cameras that cost $3,000. DJI just broke physics with the Mini 5 Pro, and I've spent 3 weeks absolutely punishing this thing to find its limits. But here's what's actually wild. And stick with me, because I'm going to show you something at the 4-minute mark that made me question everything I know about drone cameras. This isn't just a bigger sensor. Something else changed under the hood that DJI is staying completely silent about. And it explains why footage from this tiny machine is making my Mavic 3 nervous. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly whether this is the drone that finally ends the sub-250-gram compromise. And I'm going to show you one specific shooting mode that's so good, I genuinely thought I was looking at the wrong footage. But first, we need to talk about why this even exists. The sensor revolution. Let's get technical for just a second because this matters. We've officially crossed into 1-inch sensor territory on a drone that doesn't require FAA registration. That's the same sensor class as the Mavic 3 Classic, the Air 3S, cameras that cost more than some people's monthly rent. And here it is, weighing 249 grams, fitting in spaces you wouldn't believe. But here's where things get interesting. A bigger sensor means cleaner low-light performance, better dynamic range, less noise in your shadows. That's physics. That's expected. What I didn't expect was how much sharper everything looks, how much more three-dimensional the footage feels, how colors just pop differently even in the flattest lighting. That's not just sensor size, that's processing power, that's new firmware, that's DJI doing something in the background they're not putting on the spec sheet. And I know this because the battery tells the story. When you're hovering, you get 36 minutes of flight time. But when you're recording in real-world conditions, most users are getting 20 to 25 minutes, sometimes less depending on weather and flying conditions. That's a significant gap. That gap is the processor working overtime to deliver image quality that frankly shouldn't exist on something this small. The camera is working harder than it's ever had to work, and you're about to see why that matters in extreme conditions. Daytime quality. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. If you're flying in perfect afternoon sunshine, filming trees and buildings, the difference between this and the Mini 4 Pro isn't going to blow your mind. Good lighting is the great equalizer. Even older drones look fantastic when the sun is doing the heavy lifting for you. But look closer at the details. The Mini 5 Pro handles texture better. You see individual leaves instead of green blobs. The contrast is more natural. There's this richness to the image that's hard to describe, but impossible to unsee once you notice it. The Mini 4 Pro looks a bit flat in comparison, like it's trying to compensate with software saturation. The Mini 5 Pro just captures reality with more depth and nuance. Where you really start to see the 1-inch sensor flex its muscles is in hazy conditions. I shot on what was legitimately the foggiest, haziest day I've experienced this year, and the Mini 5 Pro cut through it like it wasn't even there. Landscapes stayed vibrant, the light stayed even, everything maintained separation and clarity. That's dynamic range doing its job. Night and extreme conditions. But let's talk about where this drone absolutely destroys its predecessor. Nighttime and extreme lighting. This is where that 1-inch sensor earns its paycheck, and oh man, does it deliver. Same location, same time of night. And look at this. The Mini 4 Pro footage looks like it was shot through a dirty window. Everything's soft, details are mushy, there's this weird grain that makes it look almost vintage. The Mini 5 Pro? Crystal clear. You can read building signs, you can see texture in the concrete. Individual windows are sharp and defined. It's not even a fair fight. I actually flew back and shot this same scene twice because I thought I'd messed up my settings on the Mini 4 Pro. Nope, that's just what it looks like. The sensor upgrade is undeniable when the lights go down. And then there's dynamic range. DJI claims 14 stops, which is impressive for a drone this size. The Mavic 4 Pro does around 16 stops on its main camera, and that thing is a professional workhorse. I took this thing into the most challenging lighting I could find. Thick fog that was brighter than the ground. Sunsets with dark foreground shadows, high-contrast scenes that would make any camera cry. Look at this sunset shot. The Mini 4 Pro version has blown-out clouds that look like white blobs. You lose all that detail in the sky. The Mini 5 Pro keeps it all. Texture in the clouds, color in the bright areas, and simultaneously pulls details out of the shadows in the tree bark. Everything stays balanced. Everything stays real. This is the kind of capability that used to require $10,000 of cinema camera equipment. The zoom secret. Okay, here's the thing I promised you at the beginning that genuinely shocked me. This drone has what DJI calls 48 Mini Med Tele Mode, essentially a 2x digital zoom. And I know what you're thinking. Digital zoom is garbage. It's just cropping. It ruins quality. Normally, you'd be right. But watch this. I'm going to show you 2 shots, and I want you to tell me which one is the zoomed-in crop. Ready? This one and this one. Did you guess? Because I'm going to be honest, in real-world use, I can barely tell the difference. The cropped 2x zoom holds up so well that I'd estimate about 40% of the shots in this entire review were filmed using it. The quality degradation is minimal, almost negligible unless you're pixel peeping at 400% zoom on a professional monitor. This changes the entire value proposition of this drone. People have been debating whether to get the Air 3S because it has that second telephoto lens for different framing options. Well, the Mini 5 Pro just gave you a zoom mode that's surprisingly usable. The image quality at 48 EMR holds up remarkably well, better than any digital zoom I've seen on previous mini drones. You get creative framing flexibility without the massive quality sacrifice you'd expect. You get compressed backgrounds, tighter compositions, different perspectives, all from a camera system that fits in your palm. For anyone on the fence about spending more for dual cameras, this might just be your answer. Battery and build reality. Let's address the elephant in the room, the battery situation. DJI actually changed the specs a few days before launch, which tells me this wasn't their original plan. The official numbers are 36 minutes of hover time, but only 21 minutes while recording. I tested this to failure, literally crashed it when the battery died, and got close to 41 minutes of hover time in Phoenix heat with obstacle avoidance running. But with recording, I got closer to 23, maybe 25 minutes depending on how aggressive I was flying. Here's my take. I'd rather have 21 minutes of incredible footage than 35 minutes of mediocre footage. The battery compromise exists because of that image processing I mentioned earlier. This drone is working hard to deliver professional-level quality, and that takes power. It's physics. You can't cheat it. The good news? Mini 4 Pro batteries work in the Mini 5 Pro. You can use your old batteries, mix and match, build up a collection over time. That's actually really consumer-friendly of DJI, and it softens the blow of the shorter recording time. Also, the new LiDAR obstacle avoidance is a game-changer at night. There's zero light in some of the locations I flew, pitch-black conditions, and this thing saw obstacles perfectly. It won't stop you from hitting a power line. Those are still too thin. But for trees, buildings, and terrain, it's incredibly reliable. Features that matter. Let's rapid fire through the features that actually enhance your flying experience. The manual gimbal rotation is there. You hold a button and scroll to tilt the camera sideways. Cool feature. Will I use it? Probably never. Vertical video mode for social media creators? It's there. Full resolution, works flawlessly. Do I use it? Occasionally, but I'm still framing for landscape. First, active track is reliable. I tried to outrun it, juke it, confuse it with direction changes, and it stuck with me like glue. If you're a mountain biker, surfer, or runner, this will follow you without drama. The shooting modes are where things get spicy. You've got D-Log-M for maximum flexibility in post-production, HLG for vibrant color straight out of camera and normal profile. But here's the kicker. That 14 stops of dynamic range only works in auto mode. I don't love shooting auto because I'm a control freak, but when you're dealing with extreme lighting, auto mode on this drone actually makes smart decisions. It's one of the few times I'll recommend it. 10-bit color all the time means you're not hitting any bottlenecks in the color science. The data quality is there. The format isn't limiting you. The only limitation now is literally the physical sensor size, and at 1 inch, that's a pretty high ceiling. Who should buy? So here's the real question. Should you buy this? Let me break it down. If you're a beginner buying your first drone, yes, absolutely. This is the one. You're getting professional capabilities with none of the intimidation factor. It's small enough that you won't be nervous flying it. It fits in a backpack for hikes. It doesn't draw attention from every person within a mile radius. And critically, if something goes wrong and it crashes, you're not out $3,000. The learning curve is friendlier when the stakes are lower. If you own a Mini 4 Pro and you're wondering if this is worth upgrading, here's my honest answer. It depends on what you shoot. If you're a daytime casual flyer, the upgrade is nice, but not essential. If you shoot at sunset, in challenging weather, at night, in foggy conditions, or you want that filmic quality with beautiful dynamic range, this is a significant leap forward. The sensor size makes all the difference in extreme conditions. If you're a professional or serious content creator debating between this and the Air 3S, consider what you need. The Air 3S gives you a dedicated telephoto lens. The Mini 5 Pro gives you portability and that shockingly good digital zoom. For me, the Mini 5 Pro wins because I can take it everywhere, and that means I actually use it. The Smart Remote Plea, one more thing before we wrap, and I cannot stress this enough. Get the Smart Remote. I don't care that it costs extra. I don't care that it seems unnecessary. Using your phone in that clunky cage with the basic controller is a nightmare. Your phone dies. You get texts mid-flight. The screen is dim in sunlight. It's just a worse experience in every possible way. The Smart Remote turns on instantly, connects immediately. The screen is bright enough for full daylight, and you never have to think about it. It just works. I've never met a single person who paid extra for the Smart Remote and regretted it. Not one. It's the upgrade that fundamentally changes how much you enjoy flying. And that matters more than any spec sheet. The DJI Mini 5 Pro isn't perfect. The real-world battery life when recording is around 20-25 minutes despite DJI's 36-minute claim for hovering. Some features feel unnecessary, and you're going to pay more than you expected once you add the Smart Remote and extra batteries. But here's what it is. It's the first sub-250-gram drone that makes zero meaningful compromises. The ceiling on what this thing can do is so high that you won't outgrow it for years. You're not buying an entry-level drone that you'll replace in 6 months. You're buying a legitimate professional tool that happens to fit in your pocket. This is the drone I'm keeping in my bag. This is the one I reach for, and I think it's going to be that way for a very long time. If you want to master drone videography, learn advanced shooting techniques, or understand how to get cinematic footage in challenging conditions, I've put together a complete course that covers everything. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and fly something incredible.